Welcome to Real Talk for Women of Faith, brought to you by Inner City Women of Faith. I am your host, Marzette McGarry Hawkins, and
Nicole Rivas.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again for our show. We are continuing this topic of why so many Black women are single, or the question rather, why are so many Black women single? Today, we're going to talk to some men. We're going to hear what men want. Let's look at that, ladies. Let's take some time and listen real good. What do Black men want? Well, we got some Black men on this show, and we're going to hear them tell us what they want. Now, don't forget, ladies, to like, share, and subscribe. So go ahead and right now, like, share, and subscribe, and let all your single friends know, even your married friends, just let your friends know to tune in to Real Talk for Women of Faith. And you can find us at Inner City Women of Faith on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. That's Inner City Women of Faith. Now, John, we have our first guest, John, Reverend John Burton Jr. John, can you say hey?
Good evening, ladies. Good afternoon, ladies. Good morning, ladies, wherever you are.
That is smooth. All right.
Well, all right then.
All right. John's single, y'all. That's why he's so smooth. And then we have the wonderful Edward Edwards. Say hey, Ed.
Hello, ladies. Welcome, welcome, and welcome.
All right. We have
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for joining us. We're so happy to have you with us again. Well, John, we have John again, Ed's first time being with us. So thank you, Ed. These are both wonderful, wonderful men of God. So now let's get to these questions, Nicole. Nicole, start us off. What do you want them to say first?
Well, actually, let me start with my disclaimer. And I think you're getting the feedback, Marzette. So if you have a second device on anywhere, check that out.
I do.
Okay, so first I'm starting with a disclaimer, which is, ladies, this is a listening party, not a judge their truth party. We are here because it's a rare opportunity to see into the mind of men. So I'm not here to judge what they say. I'm not here to argue with what they say. I'm here to listen and learn. And I invite you to do the same thing. Put down all the weapons.
Right.
and just sit back and hear. Hearing doesn't mean you have to agree. It just means you hear. So that's what we're going to be doing here. Don't expect me to be challenging them. That's not my job. I'm here to listen and learn. So my first question for you, and actually this is one that I always know, because there's this thing that women say, right? They say that a man, when he gets married, it isn't simply the woman, it's that he's decided this is the time to get married. And so before he's ready to be married, it's just not going to be jumping off. Is that true? Do men have a set season and a set time when they decide, okay, it's time to be married?
Who you want to answer first?
John, you want to tackle that one first?
That sounds like an Ed question. Go ahead, Ed. I'm going to defer to you, bro. Go ahead.
So let me be clear. Say that question again. I want to make sure I'm answering right, because while you were speaking, I was thinking about the answer, which I do have a pretty good answer, but just to be clear, one more time on that question.
Okay, Ed. Now, you know I'm a lawyer, and when I'm in deposition and witnesses ask me to repeat the question, it's because they're stalling. I know what this is. You're stalling.
Wait a minute. Nicole, remember
stall.
you said you're going to put out all the weapons. All the weapons, all the judgment.
I'm sorry.
This is a Christian show. No weapon formed against us shall prosper.
There you go. It will not prosper. And on that note, I'll tell you what, I won't take a repeat another question. I don't know. I'm actually at a season where I just want to make sure I understand. But from what you asked me and from what I retained from your question about 5 seconds ago, no. For me, there wasn't a season. I was married once already, and there wasn't a particular season for me. It was just more of a matter of I just knew. Like, this is at that time, at my age, my needs, whatever, my desires, my thought of what a wife would look like and would act like and interact with me upon meeting her. And I was dating many women, of course, we all do, men and women alike. But yeah, I just knew. So it
You
wasn't
just
a
knew.
season, no.
So you had a checklist in your head, kind of when you met her, and she checked those boxes, or
I
Or was
wouldn't say
it a feeling?
I wouldn't say I necessarily had a checklist, but you know, I guess you could say as a checklist. It wasn't like a 10 list, and if she's got 9 or 10, or if she meets 80%, nothing like that. But you know, you look for the basic things. I mean, for me, I'm gonna see you first. You know, so I have to be attracted to you, and I would like for you to be attracted to me as well. So it was just at that first initial meeting, and then just as we got to know each other, as you know, you got to know more, I got to know more about her. It was just more of, I could see being with this person. So it wasn't so much of a list. It was just more of a, as we went, uh, this is what I do desire. And it was interesting just finding out about her as time went on, getting to know her.
Okay.
John?
Thank
Oh,
you.
same question.
Yeah, same question.
Okay. Well, I'm a little different. Single, never married. So people always say, "Why aren't you married? Why aren't you married? You've met some wonderful women. You've dated some beautiful women. Why aren't you married?" And I would agree. I've dated some wonderful women, some beautiful women, some talented women, some very smart women, some gifted women, and I knew for myself I wanted me to be all I could be. I didn't need anybody else to complete me. I didn't need anybody else to tell me when it was time for me to be married. I think I will know when it's time for me to be married. And I'm not having anybody to push or pull me into something I'm not wanting to be in. And I think that that takes an air of maturity, because a lot of people who were pushed or were cajoled into something, those people are already married and divorced by now. And so now they're waiting. Now they are doing the thing that I've been doing the entire time, waiting for the right person and the right time for me. Everyone has a different time frame. And I think that if you start looking and you start looking around to different people and comparing your lives to theirs, and you know, your time frame will get all off kilter. And so I had to be stalwart in my personal time frame. I'm not going to get married or be pressured into getting married if I'm not ready, because it does me a disservice, but it also does my future wife a disservice, because maybe this wasn't the right time, and then this could result into a bad marriage and could ultimately result in divorce, because I've seen some people stuck in a marriage with the wrong person. And if you're in a bad marriage, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So both of you, well, John, you're saying that as it relates to Nicole's question, do men really just kind of get married because it's like it's a time frame in life, like a certain season, or is it a certain woman that makes her want to get married? And so for you, it's a time and a season. You're like, I got it.
Right.
The timing is important. And for Ed, it's you know what, it's this woman. So it's a woman who can make him say, you know what, I want her. I want her. Yeah, I think that's interesting. So we have two men saying something different. So ladies,
Different
when you meet a man, he
perspectives.
could be in a different place. He could be in a space where he's like, you know what, it's not time for me. I know that I'm not ready. But then you meet some men, and your man is kind of like, you know what, you are the woman that makes me want to say, I'm getting married. That's interesting, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's interesting.
I
We have
remember early in my 20s, there was a young lady who that I was dating. I really liked her. And we both had talked about marriage before, but I didn't want to get married because I wasn't financially ready. And so for me, being financially stable was very important, because I knew once I committed into this relationship and not having any money, that money is one of the main reasons why people get a divorce.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to make sure that I was financially stable in order to be able to not only sustain me, but also sustain my wife and the upcoming family that I think we will probably have. Because once you get started, there's no backpedaling. You know, you can move forward, but there's no backpedaling on trying to get it right, you know. And so I didn't want to do that. And so I've seen casualties of that. And, you know, it's just a little different. I think it's different for everyone. Again, my conversation and his conversation, we are just two men out of millions or billions of men. We all have different perspectives on it. And so we're just giving you ours.
Yeah. And what I find interesting, I think it's important that both of you are two different approaches. And the reason I find that's important is because that is a myth that travels among women, that, yeah, I think I heard it once, that men are like taxi cabs. You know, when their little flag goes up, it's time to get married. Whichever's the next woman they pick up, that's the one they're gonna marry. You know, and before that, you're just wasting your time. I've heard that a lot, but it sounds to me that that is a myth because it's not going to apply across the board. So I guess what I'm hearing from you is that as a single woman, you need to know which man you're dealing with and whether he is a man that, depending on if he thinks you're the right woman, he may move in that direction. Or if he's not ready, you can be, you know, Mother Mary herself. It's just not going to happen. So you need to know that and make a decision whether you're staying in that relationship with that understanding or not.
And to be honest with you, we are all adults. One of the things I always say is ask. You may not want to know the answer, but just ask. Are you ready to be married? You know, when do you think you're ready to be married? If someone says they're not ready to be married,
Believe
I don't care how fine you are, how much money you make, or whatever you do in your extracurricular activities, it's not going to make that man want to marry you any faster if he's not ready to be married. So regardless of what you do, how good you look, or how much money you make, if he is not ready to be married and he's told you after you've asked him, is he ready to be married? And he says no, 9 times out of 10, he's not ready to be married.
Or even for commitment, right? Even asking that question, what is your level of commitment? I think that's something too, that even before marriage, like asking the question about commitment, how could, you know, what is your commitment level going to be? Are you able to be in a committed relationship? I think a lot of women, a lot of single women that I've known, they get into relationships just assuming that there will be a level of commitment, a level of loyalty, and then they're shocked when it's not. It's like, well, you know. So I think asking that question is important too, establishing that so that you're not, you know, because I think, well, I've seen women who think because they're all in and because they're washing this man's clothes, cooking his food, and all this, that he's. It's like, no, you were doing that because you wanted to. He was, you know, so he's not. You can't just expect for him to have that level of commitment because you do. So I like ask the questions, guys. I think we need to ask those questions, and then when your man tells you no or whatever his answer is, believe him. Believe him. Don't try to think, well, okay, well, I can change him. I'm gonna keep doing this so that he gonna change his mind. Then you look up 10 years later, he hasn't changed his mind, and you know you're upset, and it's like, well, you know, he told you and showed you.
Yeah.
So and could I back up a little bit?
Someone still has 2 devices on, by the way. So go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, just to touch base on what you said, Nicole, I think it's very important to point out, not verbatim, but you said something to the effect of knowing the man that you're dealing with. I think that is a key for everybody. Just put a star by, ladies, in your consideration and in your just, you know, getting to know the guy. You got to know the man that you're dealing with, because some men are just fine. And I'm not saying this, but like John said, there are thousands and millions of men across, you know, single men. Some men are up to no good. Some men are not. So I think if we do what you said, Nicole, and if women would just know the man that they're dealing with, Pay attention to the red flags. Pay attention to what the Holy Spirit will tell you. Pay attention to what family, friends. Look at the body language. Look at the symptoms of this man. You don't necessarily have to engage in a battle with him to get this stuff. Just simply observe, test the spirits, and you'll pretty much know in your heart and in your spirit as well what his intents are. But like I say, he could have 5 people that he's trying to have 5 different lives with. So it's a lot of different scenarios. But I think if we use that as key to just know the man that's in front of you that you're dealing with, I think that's important.
You know what, Ed? I'm glad you raised that, because that's going to lead me to another question that I think is important, which is, I think sometimes as women, we struggle knowing the man we're with, right? So we struggle because it's like, okay, so I speak Spanish, right? But not fluently. I speak Spanish like a 5-year-old.
¿Por qué no?
Right?
¿Por qué no hablas mucho español? ¿Por qué no?
Don't say, but I speak it like a 5-year-old, right?
Okay,
Which
está bien, está
means,
bien.
because I speak the Spanish like a 5-year-old, there are subtleties, there are jokes, there are lyrics in songs that I miss because I'm familiar with the language, but I'm not fluent with the language. And I feel like sometimes as women, we're familiar with men's language, but we're not fluent. And so for that reason, there's subtleties that we miss that just go right over our heads. And so I'm going to ask you guys to do 2 things, right? To make it not too long, and let's not expound on it because we want to get as many questions in as possible. But I want you both to give me the top 3 things that women should look for to know that this is a good one, and the top 3 things that they should know that they need to run and fast. Like, so just those 3, top 3 that this is a good one, you need to stick this out, and top 3, no, he's telling you something that you're not willing to hear.
Can we answer the first question first and then ask the second question after we answer the first one?
Yes, go right ahead, John.
So the first one is, what's the first one? The first one is 3 things that tell you, top 3 that tell you
it's a good man.
It's a good man.
One. Yeah.
Since I made Ed go first, I'll go first on this go around. So what are things that this is a good dude? First and foremost, that that you like him. You know, you like this man, and this man likes you. Like when you are there, you know, he's giving you his undivided attention. You're giving him, you know, your undivided attention, and you know that he's attracted to you, and you're attracted to him, because men are visual. We see you first, regardless of what you say or anything. We see you first. We see you first. And so, you know, we have to have that. But then once we know that, you know, you are attractive, what you say and even how you say it, you know, is the next thing we're looking for. And so, so one, that he's into you just as much as you're into him. That would be 1. 2, I would say that this man loves God more than he loves you. I think that is so crucial, because if the man loves you more than he loves God, he's always going to put you before God. And so if this man is following God, following his precepts, praying, fasting, doing whatever it is that God has told him to do, regardless of what anyone says, even his wife tells him, he's going to want to obey God first, because the heart is very deceitful. It wants what it wants. And sometimes the heart will want the wrong thing. And so this man has to be so grounded and rooted in his faith and his relationship with God that he is willing to put all things in jeopardy to follow God. And so you have to want a man who loves God that much in order to stand by him, be rooted in him, to not only lead you where God wants you to go as a couple, but if you're willing to have a family, knowing that he's going to lead your family to all the things of God as well. And then lastly, I would say that you want to be able to know that this man is going to be able to take care of you. Not only take care of you financially, but take care of you in the ways that you need to be taken care of. Not just financially, not just in the bedroom, which society has put those up first and foremost, but being able to take care of the things in the house, being able to take care of just the little things that you need. Some people, their love languages are different. And so if your love language is gifting, know that this man knows that you love a gift. But if your love language is quality time, this man knows that he's willing to put in the quality time with you and that you are in this together. And so if he is able to know what your needs are and he's able to supply them, that's what happens. And to be honest with you, I don't want to speak for Ed, but I know for me, it gives me and most men I know fulfillment knowing that he has given you something that you want. And to put the icing on the cake, when you say thank you or I appreciate it, or you praise him in some type of way, that would take us over the moon. Because men love to feel validated. And when we are validated, especially by the woman that we love or that we're interested in, oh my God, you could ask us anything and we'll turn into marshmallows.
True.
So to save time, let's divide it. So John just did what to look for in the man. And you tell us what to run from in a man. You take that second part.
Oh, what to run from in a man? Oh, I was busy about to float on John's answer. I agree with
he was thinking about it already. I can tell
I was thinking about it, but I can Johnny on the spot, and I'm not stalling, Nicole. I'm not stalling. But I would say some of the things you run from a man. I would say the first thing, just listening to him. Listen to what he's saying. Listen to what he's telling you. Listen to what his plans are and his dreams. And based on what he says, my mother had a famous saying, and I hope it's appropriate to share here, but I'm going to roll it out and throw the dice. It's PG-13, but she simply would say, empty wagon makes a lot of noise. That has to soak in. An empty wagon makes a lot of noise. So a man could come and he's, usually trying to impress a woman, but he doesn't understand his impressing that woman, if it's bordering on untruths and misleading her into believing something that is not, is just a bad thing. And it's a lie that he'll have to always continue on. So just paying attention to what he's saying, also paying attention to how he's saying it. I've heard where there are times where even some ministers are telling the lady congregation, oh, have an argument with the man so you can know what he's like when he have an argument if you guys get in a relationship. What? No, don't tell him that. Yeah, don't do that. I mean, what'd you say, John?
That's an F.
Yeah, that creates there are other ways of just observing a man. It goes back to just observing him and just knowing. So if situations come up based on how he deals with it, if he's raising his voice, how he talks about other people, those are things to really consider. And one of my final and personal things, if he's mad at his mama, I say run for the hills. I know his mother could be a crack dealer, crack user, whatever, but something about the woman that carried you for 9 months or however many months she carried you and pushed you out, she bought you life. Whatever it looks like, you don't have to like what she does. However, you do have to honor her as your mother. So yeah, those three things I would run from. If those were factors, I wouldn't. Yeah, if you're mad at your mom, you just met me, buddy. And as many years as you are old, you've been mad at her for that long, and here I am. And we don't know what might have happened in the childhood, but that's not your responsibility as a lady to figure out or counsel him, we have enough energy that we need to put toward other things moving forward in our relationship than for me to evaluate and counsel you on why you and your mama had a falling out. But just
Mm-hmm.
those things, I would just say, just don't even waste your time. I know there are exceptions to the rule, but that's just my little thing I would share with my daughter.
Mhm.
Mm.
If he don't like his mama, I agree. If he has issues with his mama, that says a lot, right?
That's
I think so. I think so. It's not a slam dunk, but I think
Mhm.
it's a big one.
It's a big
Even
flag.
if she's
Big
not
one.
alive, even if she's deceased or whatever, or moved on, still, or even if he never met her, because that does happen sometimes, still to have a love and a want for, oh, my mom, I just to me, I don't know. I'm a
Yeah.
mother lover too, and I'm not coming from a place of him being a mama's boy, because that is something that I'm like, I'm not really with. I wasn't a mama's boy, but love my mom, so I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Because I agree wholeheartedly, because after his mama, you become the second most significant woman in his life, and any
Indeed.
unresolved issues, because whether we like it or not, our unresolved issues with our fathers and our unresolved issues with our mothers start showing up in the relationships with people of the opposite sex. They just do, in the most
Absolutely.
subtle ways.
Mhm, mhm.
And then
Whether
I
we
want to slightly disagree with you a little bit. The only that's gonna always be his mother. But for me, once once you're like looking and once you get married to your mate, to your wife, mom kind of mom is both our mom now, but she kind of takes a second to my wife. Not taking from the love I have for my mom because I love her dearly. However, it has to be established. I believe it's important to establish with your wife that, hey, mama's important, but you my mama now.
Yeah. Oh, no, I
Okay.
agree with you. I didn't mean in order of priority. I just meant not your mother physically showing up, your mother emotionally showing up in the relationship, whether she's physically present or not.
Yes.
Marcy, you have another question you want to shoot at the men?
Yeah, I do. I think it's important for ladies to know what qualities or characteristics attract you to a woman. So when you what do you what makes you say I want this? This is the kind of woman I want. This is the kind. Okay, we already established she gotta look good to you, right? I think that our other men on our other shows said the same thing. I think that's across the board for many men. I won't say all, but many men want, as one of our guests said, she has to be his flavor. That was
Uh,
hilarious to me. So, but besides physical, so we got physical. She needs to look good to you. But even in terms of looking good, I think today's society, maybe women get that confused. What actually looks good? Um, what actually looks good? Do you think it looking good? Even sometimes we get it. What women kind of think differently than men as far as what is physically appealing. I know all men are different, but what do you guys think? Would you say, I like all the makeup, I like all the stuff I see now on TV, or I like more of a simple woman, kind of what? Just give women an idea, real quick,
Well,
real
I'll
quick,
jump.
yeah, real quick, because our time is about up. So give us a quick one on that. Then I'm gonna go to the characteristics.
I'll jump on that one real quick. As far as the looks, I know we hear that, and especially in this society, it's so much on looks. It's like, do we want a Megan Thee Stallion? Do we want Cardi B? Or do we want Cicely Tyson? We can look at those women, and all those women look different, but it depends on where that man is, where his mentality is, in your maturity. So I think, like, as far as picking a mate, that might be affected by our age and our maturity at the time. Like for me,
Well,
it
yeah,
used
what
to
do
be a
you
time.
like? Gotta go quick. What do you like when you
Oh,
see a woman? What is like? What is Ed like physically?
you know what Ed likes is I do see you first, but it's kind of a combination pack because what I see and how you speak is like John was saying a little earlier. Those are important to me. Like you can be the baddest woman looking wise, but just be short and stinky to people, and that's not gonna represent me. So I know and I'm not about changing you. So
well,
yeah.
yeah. Well, but my simple question, because but both of you said you want, and men are saying we want a woman that's attractive. What we just talking about physically? What is attractive for Ed? What's attractive physically?
Attractive is her conversation where she's at with the Lord, but not
You don't know
being a
that yet.
Bible study.
You're in the store. What's gonna
When I
make
see
you
her,
say? What's gonna
Hold
make you
on,
say? I'm gonna.
She
hold
wants
on.
her.
she wants
Hold on. Wait,
Okay.
let's stop, guys. Let's stop. Because let's ask a question that's going to be most relevant to the whitest bunch of women. And I think what Marzette is trying to get at is not simply add like what's your flavor, what you like, right? I don't
Yeah.
think she's just trying to get at that. I think what Marzette is trying to ask with regard to physical appearance is that most of us women, particularly because of media presentations, have
Right.
a very narrow concept of what
Beauty
men,
is.
what beauty is and what men find attractive. And
Right.
I have been surprised that sometimes I talk to men and they're like, no, no, that's not pretty to me, or I really like this. Like I remember I had a male friend who was telling me, and this is so funny, and well, this is an adult show, but he was telling me he loves cellulite. Seeing the dimples on a woman's thighs just get him all excited. See, look.
Yeah, you see, so this thing's right. So I'm just, so that's the thing. I want to get like what when just physically looking. When you physically see a woman, because as the men said, the first thing you notice is her look before you even hear her speak. When it's her look that makes you say, oh, now I'm going to discover how she speaks. Now I'm going to discover her if she loves the Lord. You don't know that yet. You just so what is that? Thank you, Nicole, for making that.
What I see is I see her, like, for me, what attracts me, I'm not a big makeup person. You could have on some lip gloss and a little bit of something because I want to see what you naturally look like. Your hair, your hair could be a certain way, and then your body, just long as you're neat and you take care of yourself, well kept woman, respectful. That's what I see. That's what I'm gonna draw to. That's gonna make me step to you.
Respectful. So when you say respectful, you mean like maybe her not too much cleavage showing. You don't want to have a whole bunch of cleavage out. You don't want to have on pants up tight. What is respectful?
I like a woman that knows how to carry herself. So a woman knows what her body looks like. So she knows what clothes can be provocative, which, so she would have that maturity that would be expressed through what she puts on.
So not too provocative.
Not too provocative, no.
Okay, that's what I want to know. So Ed likes not too provocative and just well put together, but not too provocative. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you. John, what you got?
I'm very similar to Ed. I like a done woman. DUN. Her hair needs to be done. It doesn't have to go. You have to go just to the salon to do it. It could be long. It could be short. Whatever you like.
Done.
DUN. Like I said, you don't even have to go to the salon. If you can do your hair yourself, hey, that's more power to you. That's half the game. So that attract.
But hair does matter to you. Hair matters.
I mean, done. DUN.
Yeah, done. Not all over my head. But done. Okay.
Done. The dress. I'm very. I'm kind of conservative. Considering I got the bow tie on today, so this is kind of my style. I'm very conservative to a certain extent, and so I would like a woman who kind of not necessarily matches me, but knows how to compliment me. I dated a woman who was very, very provocative in her dress, and it made me very uncomfortable. And my boys was like, "Oh man, bro, she is gorgeous. She is fine." Da, 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 da. And that just was not for me. I mean, she had a beautiful body, and
I heard the pause, John. I heard the pause.
And she loved things that complimented her body, and so I just would feel uncomfortable because not that she shouldn't wear it, but I think there are certain things that should just be reserved for a later time. And sometimes things that need to be reserved for just you and your spouse or your mate or your friend at the time.
Okay. Okay. So we hear that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nicole.
Yeah, you know what I find very interesting about the difference between you and Ed, um, is it seems that what you're physically attracted to is something that reflects you. So it's not this objective standard of a woman's got to be that. John, you're attracted to a woman that reflects you, your taste, I've known you for a long time. You are a done man, right? You got your hair tight, you got the glasses tight, you got the bow tie. So you are looking for a mate that reflects that physically. And Ed, you are a person that your desire to be respectful and honoring to other people, right, as yourself, that's something you often talk about. And I noticed that when you spoke of the woman's dress, her dress is reflecting that aspect of your personality. So I guess what we can draw from that is that a man, when he's looking for a woman, is going to be looking for someone that reflects part of his understanding and his taste and his presentation to the world, because she's an extension of that.
Interesting. That's good. So ladies, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind for the kind of man you're looking for your man, right? He wants you to reflect him in a positive way. Okay, the last question that we gotta go.
Or something that he likes, or because there's sometimes you could see someone and it's total opposite from what that person is like, and so sometimes that is a fantasy for him, and sometimes we marry the fantasy girl. Most of the time, not. But sometimes when you marry the fantasy girl, you marry the trophy wife. It was something that they wanted at that moment. But sometimes those relationships don't last because it was something that he wanted at that moment. He may have wanted the video vixen. He may have wanted the trophy wife. But then men are conquerors. We are lion. We love to conquer and we love to be able to hunt. But once we captured you, the hunt is over.
Well, interesting. That's
It was
something
like,
that keep that in mind, ladies.
yeah, like I did that next kind of thing.
Right. The thrill is gone now because I already conquered. Okay, then lastly, character. This is what Ed was really getting to most of the time, which means he's like, you know what, character. What characteristics, and we got it, this is our last question, are you looking for, or do you desire most in the woman you're going to commit to? What characteristics does she have to have for you to commit to her, have a single loyalty to her?
I would personally say honesty.
Wait, you said honesty. I'm sorry, you broke up. Honesty, you said?
Honesty, loyalty, and a sense of fun. Because it's great to have honesty. They can be honest and open and honest. It's great that they're going to be loyal to you and only you. Was that a song lyric? I think it was. But you want to have fun with the person. I mean, you got to have fun. This is your friend. This is your life partner. I mean, I'm of the school where let's play a game. You want to play a game? Let's go play a game. Let's go out and do something fun. Let's be spontaneous, because if you can't have fun, what's the point? I mean, there's no point in being old and cranky all the time. You're going to have plenty of time to be that, but I don't want to be that couple. I want to be able to go out and have fun. So yeah, honesty, loyalty, and fun.
Ed, what characteristics are you looking for?
I'll have to share with the honesty. And then my second one would be a woman that has the ability to examine herself. And then my third would be a woman that can have a mind change, that can look at doing things different, or going with a different perspective than she may be used to, or be open for other knowledge. Those are my three.
That's good. Anything you want to say about that, Nicole, before we go? About any of their comments before we go? I think they were both very good and insightful.
I thought they were both very good and insightful. And what I'm drawing from this, and ladies, what I took from this is we forget men are human. They're not objective. They're not little objects, like I want a relationship, insert man here. or all men are this or all men are that. They're not that.
And
We've
we
got
say that a
two,
lot. We
and
say
we
that
say
a lot.
that a lot. And we've got two
And
men
that,
here
yeah.
who are very different. What they desire, what they value is very different. And a lot of ladies, you don't feel good about yourself because you are the perfect woman for Ed, but you're dating John. Or you're the perfect woman for John, but you're dating Ed, and you keep trying to change yourself to make yourself the woman for that man. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. If you're the perfect, yeah.
And I also think, if this is a biblical show, we have to think back to Song of Solomon. 3 times he says, "Do not awaken love before it's time." And I think a lot of us are ready to be in a relationship or to be married before it's time. Maybe it's not your time. Maybe it's not your time. Maybe it's not his time. But again, he says it in Song of Solomon: "Do not awaken love before it's time." And so I think society has told us that we're nothing if we are single. We always need someone to complete us. We always need that partner. The shows like The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, they feed on that because no one wants to be single, and no one's ever told us it's okay to be single. But no, it's okay to be single until it's time. And so I always beckon back at that, Song of Solomon, because I'm not trying to wake it up before it's time, and I'm not trying to get in trouble before it's time either. So I need to be mindful of myself, and I also need to be mindful of the women that I'm choosing to make my spouse or my mate.
Good. Good. Ed. Good, John. Thank you for that. Ed, one more comment before we go. Anything you want to leave with the ladies? Anything you want to leave before we say goodbye?
I'll try and be super brief about it. Just it piggybacks on being honest. I'm just gonna coin it how I look at it. We have to just make sure, ladies, that you're not putting us guys in a position. I'm not saying me, I'm not saying John, but this does happen where I don't know if it's a Steve Harvey 90-day rule book. I don't know if it's whatever someone in society or even in our church gatherings is told, but it just seems like some women tend to put men through a boot camp. It may be 60 days, it may be 6 years, it may be 5, it may be 20 weeks or whatever. But nonetheless, what that does is that makes a man, he'll probably deal with your demands and stuff during the boot camp. But here's where the problem lies. He's not living a truth. He's putting up with you, but then he's got little Renisha working down at Foot Locker that's paying attention to some of the qualities that most women have been blessed to be nurturers. So that nurturing ability that you could give him is not being given to him during boot camp because he has to pass whatever that time that you have him going through that boot camp is. So he's developing. You may really want to give in to him, but because you may have had a past or whatever, it's like, oh, well, I can't just give in to him until these 3 months are up. And I'm just using that as an example. So what happens is he's dealing with Shaquisha down at the Foot Locker without you knowing, of course. So then when you finally give up your 3 months and it's like, okay, I'll go on and give in. He passed, he graduated from a boot camp. Now he's already got a situation with one, if not another, that has been catering to his ego, while now, and then the cheat or him being unfaithful to you might happen 4 or 5 months later because he's established this other thing. Because we men, we build resentment. I know I'm hitting a lot of different areas, but I'm gonna be super brief. So basically, be honest. If he's not saying you're not being honest, but just know if he's receiving it like you're being honest or not, or he's being put in the boot camp, and he'll tell you by his actions. Because it could make it where once you do commit and then you're signing over everything, wondering why. Well, why did he cheat on me? I was cooking, I was cleaning. We don't look back at that 3-month boot camp that happened 5 years ago. So if that's helpful to anybody, I just want to say that, just being mindful, like during that boot camp season, we men can tend, depending on our maturity, depending on the good men in our lives or where we're at in the word, it can be a resentment seed that's planted, and that tree will grow and it might blossom a month after your wedding day, or something. So I pray that's helpful for somebody.
Okay, Ed, I just want to be clear because I know you, so I know what you're talking about. But a lot of those books about, 90 days, boot camp, so forth, they're about sex, how long you wait until you have sex with a man. So when you say give in to him sooner, what are you talking about? Are you talking about sex, or are you talking about give your heart to him sooner? Don't hold
No,
your heart back from him.
take sex. No, good question. No, taking sex totally off of the table. It's
Okay.
just in responding to text messages, responding to calls. If a woman's not feeling him, it's better to just be honest and say, hey, I'm not feeling you, or maybe you better, we're probably better suited as friends, or can we just be friends? Or I'm kind of seeing somebody else I want to get involved with or whatever, or I'm want to see how it works out. Any of those things, just being honest. So it's not so much sex, it's just dealing with I don't know how to really coin it, but it's kind of
So
like just dealing with the
you're saying
Mhm.
give your heart to is what that's what it is. It's the give of your heart to, and that part.
Yeah, I would say yeah, that's a good way to
That's
explain
the
it. When
giving
you
your
finally
heart.
decide today I'm gonna give my heart to him,
Yeah,
you may give your heart to him today, but still not have sex for 5 years. But it's the
yeah.
giving the heart. And some
Heart
men
to
are
is what you're
good
talking
with
about.
no sex.
Yeah.
It's like long as they just don't feel like they're going through a triathlon, just
Yeah.
to
No,
get
no,
close
I
to your
just
heart.
wanted clarity because a lot of our women would have read those books. And so they will understand what you're saying in a particular context. And I didn't think that's what you were saying. I think you were talking about giving heart, being
Yes,
vulnerable, not making him chase you for 3 months,
Yeah.
yes,
if
Yeah.
you already know you like him. I figured that's
Right.
what you
yes.
were
That's
talking
what you
because
about
were
today.
because
saying.
some women I've heard women say it. Oh, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna call this guy who I know to come pick me up and take me out because I'm hungry. Really? You know you don't like him, but you know he likes you, and you're gonna use this man to take you out to dinner or take you to concerts or take you to do all these things. You know you have no way, shape, and form want to be with him, but you're just using him. So I agree with Ed. Be honest. Be honest with him. Be honest with yourself. If you know you don't like him, let's not waste anybody's time, and let's be very mature adults about it. Because at the end of the day, it is marriages between supposedly between two mature adults.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mature adults, not just adults, mature adults that you're able to converse, have fun, and do everything together. But if somebody is not being honest, it's
Yes.
not going to result in the way that you want it to be.
Hmm. Right. Well, thank you. Thank you both. Those are very good insight. Ladies, we hope that you learned something today that will help you on your journey, on your single journey, hopefully leading to a significant committed relationship and ultimately marriage. We hope you learned something today. Let us know. Leave your comments in the chat. We want to thank Reverend John and Ed for joining us today. Thank you so much, fellas. We love you. We appreciate you. And ladies, don't forget to join us next time for Real Talk for Women of Faith, brought to you by Inner City Women of Faith. And please like, subscribe, and share. See us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Inner City Women of Faith. We love you, ladies. Have a great day. Goodbye.